Hey, welcome back guys. I'm Chris.
I'm Ange.
And this is the outfit.
This is the aftermath of Cape York. We are finally relaxing now.
We are, so we had to decompress a little bit and chill out after the shenanigans in Cape York. And just because there'd been just so much driving since Adelaide. So
yeah, it's been intense.
I needed a bit of a break, so we chilled out at a caravan park for about 4 nights, which is very rare for us, and then at a free camp for a couple of nights after that, where we caught up with a mate, and then today we've made it to this beautiful spot.
Yeah, so it's been 10 days, a lot has happened since then, but Cape York was amazing. We're so glad we went there despite like the stress a little bit and the corrugation. We did some very nice free camp. The Runga Point free camp was definitely one of the highlights. If you can make it there, it's really easy access, kind of like 4-drive only, and kind of like a beachfront campsite. And we did as well a few nights at the Loyalty Beach campground, which is a paid campground. I think $28 from memory. We did like some laundry there. We like relaxed, and that was like really good place. They had like a nice restaurant where we had a fish and chips. Like, yeah, very good vibe over there. So yeah, we had a good time, and now we are back in Cairns exploring. That's good.
Yeah, and Cairns is beautiful. The weather is so nice. It was really hot up the tip, but it's already a lot cooler, especially by the coast here on this side. It's so nice. So
yeah, we did a lot.
We did do a lot. So first things first, when we got to the caravan park, I had one kind of chill day, and then the next day I rotated all the tires. So actually all 5 tires got rotated. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a previous vlog, but something peculiar about all the Unimogs, all these square body Unimogs, is they have a really full-on camber. Now, a little bit like a tractor actually on the front, so they all come in and that cannot be adjusted. The only thing that can really sort of be adjusted there in the front is the toe in and the toe out. Now, before we left Adelaide all that time ago, so about 10,000 K ago, we had a specialist come in and align all the wheels. So alignment is not an issue, but because of that camber, the outer edge of the tires really take a beating. And something, I don't know if it's peculiar to this particular Mog or the Mogs in general, it's mostly just on this passenger side. Now, one thing the guy noticed on the alignment is that the rear axle of the Mog is kinked a little bit, and he thinks that's because on European roads it is to combat the camber of the road. But obviously here in Australia, driving on the left hand side of the road, what that means is that the truck is always sort of steering off of the road, whereas normally in Europe, of course, it'll be going into the camber of the road. So what that means is this outer edge on the front and back passenger side really takes a beating, and no matter how many times I rotate these wheels around the truck, it's always going to be that outside lug that takes a hiding. Now, they're a non-directional tire, so what we did was flip them on the rim. So that was a really full-on day. So we ended up flipping 3 of them and rotating all 5, and that was so that I could bring in the brand new spare tire as well. So the brand new spare is now on the rear, and that will help me prolong the life. Not been happy at all about the wear I'm getting from the tires. I've been looking at forums, not just Unimogs, but this tire pattern in general. So we're running BKTs, which is an Indian one. There is also a Chinese one called Advance, and there is also the original one called Michelin, which is French, much more expensive. They all share this exact same tread pattern, and they are known to not wear well on road, but they are just so good off road. That's kind of the pros and the cons of the tire, I guess. So yeah, we've rotated. We'll probably do that every 5,000 Ks. I really don't want to be flipping them that often, but it is what it is. So yeah, that was the big job when we got back.
And then Bowser is certainly looking a lot cleaner now. Oh my God.
Yeah, we did a huge wash. So you got that red dirt over everything, plus we had bark. So basically, as we drive past these branches, they're just scraping along the edge, and that's not actually dirt. I think it's proper bark, and it kind of stains the Raptor. So we took it to a truck car wash, which was actually easy to find in Cairns, which was good. So it was a really nice high bay one. And washed the whole thing down, scrubbed it with soap as well. And to be honest, we're actually really disappointed by the result. It still had all the scratch marks from the trees in Cape York and our other adventures. So when we went to one of our free camps, I got up on the ladder and Ange got down low, and we scrubbed the entire truck with like Brillo Scotch-Brite pads and just water-based degreaser, and that made a massive difference. So we really had to get hands-on with that, and obviously normally we wouldn't need to, but we wanted to really clean those that bark off. So it's looking wicked. Plus you would have noticed probably that this outer edge of the aluminium, the Raptor started to peel off. Now, a couple of reasons. First reason is because it's such a sharp corner. So those edges are so sharp and they were just taking a battering. So no matter what, any kind of a paint I think would have peeled off there. And second of all, I really think that the etch primer we used hasn't adhered to the aluminium as well as I would have liked. Perfectly to the fiberglass. There has not been one chip on the fiberglass. But on the alley you can see, because once it scratches and pulls away, you can almost peel the whole thing off like skin, which I don't think it should be doing that. So rather than going over the entire thing with a Raptor and roller, we do have some Raptor left over, I just decided to paint it with the same color paint. So up close you can tell that Raptor's peeled off, but overall at least we've got the sandy taupe color. And then that saved us kind of having to mask all the windows because we would have got splash from the roller and stuff. So I'm more than happy with it. It looks way better than it did.
It's good for now.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, Bowser looks very good. We had a little issue with the light here that fell off.
Yeah, so all of the corrugations, finally the double-sided tape, kind of the stuff that you use on the bottom of your GoPro mounts, finally let go. So I've just zip tied it there. I haven't put it back yet because there's something else that needs to be addressed.
Don't
know if you can tell.
Yeah, it's a bit of glare.
Yeah, I'll get up a little bit closer. That, yeah, hard to show. It definitely looks worse in real life. Unfortunately, a suicidal cockatoo copped the windscreen really hard and shattered the whole windscreen, which really surprised me actually how easily it shattered. Gave me a hell of a fright. It is tempered glass, but it just basically exploded. So we need a new windscreen. Now, we had a look around here in Cairns, and the only price we could get from a bloke, he was going to cut a new pane of glass rather than getting in an actual windscreen. And he was going to charge 660 Australian, which I think is way too much. So we luckily found a warehouse in Townsville that had one of these windscreens in stock for $180. So we've purchased that over the phone, and we've got that waiting for us in Townsville. Ange and I would just replace it ourselves.
Well, if you remember the Raptor cat video, we actually had to obviously remove the windscreen and we put it back together. We almost had one of the biggest fights we've ever had because that was so stressful.
Divorce almost from that one. But I think we'll be better this time.
But no, at least we've got the experience.
It was definitely more stressful taking it out, but at least we don't have to worry it's already shattered.
Yeah,
right?
we can't do much worse. Yeah,
so, and the tricky part might be finding somewhere to dispose of a windscreen so large, but we'll see.
Well, there we go.
So that's why I haven't stuck back the two lights yet, but we've got the new double-sided tape for that.
Yeah, so this is the aftermath of Cape York. Yeah, I mean, all in all, we are pretty lucky with how much damage we have. Like some people have much worse damage. We've seen some trailers and like some cars. There's so many accidents over there, so not very lucky with that.
All in all, the MOG absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, so now it's time to relax. We've got a few more chores that we'll have to do next week. We'll take you along, and some exciting as well projects. So stay tuned because we've got a big news coming up as well.
Oh, we do actually. We always got big news for you guys. No.
So in a recent video we were talking about how disappointed we were about the ginger nuts in Queensland, that the recipe had been changed, but we actually found out a few days after releasing the video that it is not true. They didn't change the recipe, but there's actually a different recipe for each state, which is crazy. So Queensland has a different one than WA and I think the NT in South Australia. So we were so used to those ones.
I'm sorry, Queensland, but you are being completely gypped.
Yeah, you've got the worst ginger nuts in the entire country.
Very sorry, don't hate us, but it's true.
We need a delivery from WA.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we're just getting some cheap one from Woolworths. That will do. Alright, so we're just going on a little walk along the beach of our campsite. So this campsite just never heard of it. I was just been trying to find like a beachfront campsite in Queensland. It's a long weekend here, so I was like, oh, no chance we'll find something. But I just like look on Google Maps. This is the Graham Ranch camping in a Russell River National Park, and looked on the Queensland website, there was one site left, which was as well the biggest one, which was perfect for the MOG. So yeah, we came here and it's absolutely stunning. So the benefit of that is it's only $7 per person per night, which is so affordable, so cheap, especially like now that we've been paying for caravan parks at $50. It's much appreciated to find some cheap camping, especially bush camping like that, which is much more style. I mean, look at this. So we're just walking to the river mouth, see what we can find there. Maybe spot a croc with the drone. Definitely looks croaky here. Like the water is a bit muddy and definitely no swimming in here, definitely. Alright, so we just came back from a walk. Chris is on the fire outside. Gonna cook some steak. And me, I'm gonna make this salad. I'm just gonna make like a ratatouille. We wanted to have a sweet potato, but unfortunately we don't have enough foil. So that's gonna be our side. And yeah, I'm quite excited about this dinner. I've been actually reincorporating beef into my diet since being pregnant. I was not eating red meat before that, if you'd have watched like a few vlogs. But I had unfortunately like a blood test coming back saying I was a bit low in iron. So yeah, I've made a change, which I'm fine with. But yeah, that's usually it's quite tasty. I quite like it. Now with the fire like that, it's definitely tastier than if you have it just like in the pan or something like that. I do enjoy that. So I'm gonna chop that up. We've got a new knife to try today, a new Huusk knife. This is what it looks like. So I'm gonna be the first one to do the honors to chop the veggies with, and Chris will do the cutting of the meat a bit later. Alright, and all the veggies are chopped. Just gonna let it cook and simmer for a little bit. I'll put the lid on, maybe put down the induction. Pretty good. Alright, we've got the steaks on. Check this out for a fire pit.
It's so cool.
That was us. That was the result of our hard work today. We went to carry all these rocks around.
I don't know who did, but man, they've made an awesome fire pit.
That is
So
really cool.
Perfect. Awesome backdrop to the ocean. Really cool.
It's so relaxing. Just right there. The mug is here. Short distance to your camp.
So many butterflies up there. Mental amount of butterflies on that tree.
It's actually beautiful, like rainforest around here. Very green, lush. It feels very remote. Actually, if you look through the beach over there, it actually feels like we're on an island.
And this campsite's huge, and it's just for us.
I know.
There's like 2 entrances.
It's
awesome.
luxury.
This area is reserved for drying my underwear from our swim today. Not in the ocean, at the bin boulders. That was cool, actually. Steak is good. Chopping my steak into so many little pieces, just testing out this new knife from a company called Huusk. so they very kindly sent this to us to try out. And yeah, this is the first day we're trying it. So far, I like it. It's sharp, it's quite heavy, and it's quite thick as well. So it's a kind of a chunky knife to use, which I do like. It's got this funky little hole here for your index finger, so you get a little bit of leverage on. Nice curved blade. So far it seems really sharp as well. Time will tell whether it keeps its edge. Nice wooden handle, and a little hole here. You could maybe put a little strap on it or something if you wanted to. But yeah, so far, first impressions, it looks cool. Seems to work nicely. It's not too huge, so it works well for things like steak like this. And yeah, if you're interested in trying out a knife from Huusk, they are doing a 70% off sale. And to get that, it'll be on the link in our description below. Yeah, very cool. Liking it a lot. Now that my steak's going to go cold because I cut it into a whole bunch of little pieces, so I'm going to start eating.
Alright, bon appetit.
Thank you.
Alright, and I've dished up the ratatouille as what I prepared before.
So good. Representing all the Kiwis of L&P. I love this stuff. So Coles actually stocks it, as well as Perky Nana bars, my favourite chocolate bar of all time. But L&P is so darn good. If you haven't tried it, go to Coles, get yourself a can of lemon and Power. It's like unique, it's cool. World famous in New Zealand, in fact.
Alright, and this is our new campsite for tonight, still with a beach view, still the same national park. Fortunately the site where we're at was booked for tonight, but luckily here there's a little bit of 4G, so we could have a look quickly on the national park website which site were available, and this one was available, so I just quickly booked it this morning. There was unfortunately these two trees on the way, so we couldn't fit Bowser through and get that nice spot over there, but we can still fit here, which is good. Still get some solar, still can put as well our blanket, so we get around, I think like right now we're getting around 25 amp of solar, which is pretty good. We can top up the batteries nice and slowly. Chris in the distance over there looking at the ocean, doing a little bit of research on his phone. So I got a few little project I will discuss very soon with you. But yeah, beautiful spot. We're very impressed with this national park. Not popular at all. It feels really good. Good vibe. How are you doing?
Chilling.
Chilling.
Chilling like a villain. Just had a good chat with a bloke called Buck from the channel Mr. Buckaroony. Nice to meet you, mate. Thanks for coming and saying g'day. Yeah, just chilling here now. We'll have lunch soon. Yeah, not a lot planned for today, I guess. Look at that for some panel beating mastery. Very budget. Now, but at least the door kind of opens and shuts and it's lockable now. So this is the one we munched on the Frenchman's track. The toolbox on the other side we munched on the Holland track, if you remember that one. So at some point I think we'll see if any Unimog owners have some discarded toolboxes that we can buy off them. But they're pretty flimsy, but they are handy. So the most annoying thing about the damage now is that they don't keep the dust out. So now everything gets really dusty in there. That's kind of annoying. The cap's kind of back on, but I don't trust it. Definitely don't trust it anymore. So at some point we'll probably buy another 10-litre tank and I'll recess that a little bit more, I think, because it doesn't really stick out proud of the truck, but it's just enough to get damaged. So yeah, not ideal, but it's not too bad after all. It's not expensive damage or anything like that. In fact, it's memories, right? Because two of our really brutal tracks we've done, we've got some some battle scars from. And one thing I didn't show before we went to Cape York is I did a full oil change. Alright, so time for the MOG service. We just picked up 20 litres of Nulon X Pro 15W40. Now we're going now with the premium mineral oil, which has sort of superseded the last oil that we were using. So I've kept the old containers so that we can take the oil, and then we'll take it to Super Cheap Auto. They do oil recycling. We're just in a car park here because it's probably the best place to do it. It's nice and flat and level. So got the tarp out to catch any oil spills, and now I'm just going about replacing the 2 filters. So because we've got an 83 Unimog, this is the older spec, or sorry, older version engine. That actually has 2 oil filters, whereas I think 84 or something and later is just a single filter. So got both of these from MOG Central online. So very straightforward, it's just like a paper type of filter, the original Mercedes one. Then it's just got your gasket and a little copper washer for the replacement. So we've got 15 litres in total that the MOG takes. Before I drop the oil out of the sump, now the MOG is warm, so the oil is flowing nice and freely, which is good. Before I take the oil out of the sump, I'm going to take the oil out of both filter casings. So if you come around here, please, Ange. So these are my 2 oil filter casings. I've already done one and emptied it into the bucket, and now I've got the second one to do. Luckily they come with a drain port, so I just need to unscrew that, dump all the oil out, and then after that I can unscrew the filters, show you replacing that, and then move to the actual engine oil, which is, it's really straightforward. So that's undone, and now I've got to avoid dropping in the bucket. Boom, not too bad. And it is nice and warm, so it's going to flow nice and freely. It won't be too viscous. So I'll wait for about 10 minutes for that to drain out, and then I'll replace both filters, and then we'll move on to the actual engine. There we go. Quite hot to touch. Alright, so that's the old filter. Oh, now I'm going to have to fish those out. Okay, so new gasket goes on around the top of the thing here, and then I'm just going to get a little tiny bit of oil and just rub it around the gasket just to make sure it's not really dry. Bam, because then it holds it. So that's nice and centered. Stop it. Done, just like that, and I can just button it up. It's not the most difficult thing to do. Alright, so both filters are done. I haven't even got much oil on myself, so that's a bonus already. Now we need one of these hex, I don't know, what do you call that? Tell me what you call that, but it's a hex, and it is a 14 mil. There's a 14 mil. And that works on most of the stuff on our MOG, so we bought that specifically when we bought the MOG. Alright, so that, I can go up in this. There we go. Cool.
It's quite satisfying to watch. I definitely don't have the right clothing for that.
Any on you?
No.
Okay, so we've got all the oil out of the sump, the full 15 litres, and now we're putting the new Nulon 15W40 oil into the engine. So got a nice big yellow funnel that we take with us everywhere. So I'm just going to jump up and pour it in, and that's pretty much it. I'll just have a look on the dipstick to make sure that I've got the full 15 litres. Then before we leave, I'll start the Mog and just let it idle for a bit to get all the oil to run back through everything, and that's it, done. So easy servicing these things, and we'll just drop the old oil off to Super Cheap Auto. Heaps in there. Brilliant. I think it's easily enough. And the Mog's been running like a dream since the oil change as well. It doesn't actually seem to be using as much oil. I think I may have said to you guys before, but because this is one of the older engines, it doesn't actually have any seals on the valves. So it uses the oil a little bit like a lubricant. So it does use oil. And when I first found that out and noticed it, it really freaked me out. But I've since found out from the experts that that's totally normal on this year engine.
We had a nice little afternoon at camp today. We were doing a bit of photo editing for some photos that we took for the hiking brand Colombia a few days ago, which was a super exciting project we've been working on. But while we were doing the photo shoot a few days ago, I got bitten quite bad by a wasp on my hand. I don't know if you can tell. Look at that chubby finger here. And it is actually so painful and itchy, but I just can't believe this finger. It just looks... Chris got bitten as well.
You're showing your fat finger.
Yeah.
We got stung. I don't think we got bitten. It was like a nasty wasp under the arm. I got him behind the head, and Ange just got the mega finger.
I'm glad this is not the one with the ring. Otherwise, I would have looked
The tattoo will go all smudgy.
Oh my god, I would have deformed it completely. But yeah.
I forgot to show these guys the recovery gear.
Oh yeah.
I'll chuck it over here. So a couple of people on YouTube actually asked what recovery gear we've actually got in the Mog, because we've shown the two winches, the winches front and rear, and we've shown the max tracks, and they've really come in handy, but I've never actually shown what gear we brought. Now we picked this up from an awesome Australian company called Saber Offroad, and we got all this gear before we crossed the Simpson Desert. We just forgot to show it on YouTube. So if you come over and have a look at this, our main kit comes in a really big bag, and that is called the 22K Ultimate Recovery Kit. 22K being 22,000 kilograms, so 22 ton. And that's named after this massive kinetic recovery rope. Now we would use this if we ever had to be pulled out by another Unimog, a heavy truck or something like a tractor, or if we had to do the same and pull out a really heavy vehicle. So there'll be a certain amount of kinetic, sort of elastic strength in this rope, and that's what would really aid in a recovery for that. The kit also comes with a bunch of soft shackle rings, so no hard shackles here. So there's nothing that's going to turn into a missile if it breaks, and these are all rated really highly. One of them is an 18 ton, so a little bit less, and that is for the recovery ring. So this recovery ring is very much basically a tackle block or a snatch block. So it's a nice alloy ring, doesn't weigh too much, and this would be to double up the pulling capacity of our winch rope. So we would always endeavour to try and use this as much as possible, because not only does it double your capacity, but it also halves the load on the winch, so you're not going to burn it out. So we've got that with us, which I reckon is super important. The kit comes with gloves and a winch dampener blanket. So that's a blanket you would put over your winch rope just in case anything snapped, which probably wouldn't. And then we also have the separate bag, which we have in the cab. This one we've got in the garage, and this has a 12.5 ton kinetic recovery rope. Now we would use this to pull out other vehicles. If we use the big heavy duty 22 ton one, would probably pull a four-wheel drive in half almost. So this one we can use because it will have the right amount of kinetic energy to help sort of tug a vehicle that's stuck. And it's more likely, I think, that we're going to be using this than we'll be using the stuff for ourselves. So we have this in the cab so we can grab it really quickly and help someone out, and we have this one in the garage. But yeah, really good peace of mind to know that we do have the right recovery gear for any situation that we might come in contact with. And Saber's epic because so many of these companies do not make gear rated high enough for our 12-ton GBM Mog. So yeah, really good to have this stuff.
I don't know if you can tell in the distance, just try to film it, but there are some actual people who are actually swimming here. That is crazy. It looks so murky. I think I saw a shark before, like I saw a fin coming out of the water, but yeah, definitely in this area I would not consider going for a swim.
Because there's a river literally maybe 50 meters in front of where those guys are swimming. We saw reviews on Wikicams before coming here. Not too long ago, some guys spotted a 4-meter salty just sitting in the river.
That's
there.
Crazy.
Man, they're keen.
But some locals, you know, sometimes they're used to it and they haven't had any issue for years. And that reminds me of our time in Cape York a few weeks ago when we were at the Loyalty Beach campground. There was a chopper that was doing tools to go to the tip, and actually tried to convince Chris to go spear fishing.
And I've been convinced before to go spearing in croc waters, and I was lucky to make it out alive.
Yeah, he was letting us know like he hadn't spotted from...
Yeah, so we're not hassling this guy because he may have been absolutely correct, but he said he would jump in anywhere right now on the sea because all of the crocs were apparently south eating the hatchling baby turtles. But yeah, I wasn't convinced. Also because the water does look kind of murky and a bit muddy because
there'll be no
visibility
at all.
And there's no chance I'm going to go out on my own and stuff, and it would just be stupidity. I've made a stupid mistake like that in the past. I don't know if you guys remember in the Jeep days, I went spearing at Pender Bay because 2 local fishery officers said all them and their mates go spearing there and they've never seen a croc. It's absolutely fine. Convinced me, awesome spearing, heaps of blue bone and coral trout. So I went in there, went spearing 3 different days, got some nice fish actually. The best one I got was actually just a really big queenie which we picked up. It was an awesome spot in the Kimberley.
We missed the fish.
We do miss the fish. And then, oh, I shouldn't be laughing, but 2 weeks after that, a mate sends me this newspaper article.
Oh my god.
Some bloke in the exact same spot in Pender Bay got bitten on the top of their head by a big 10-foot croc.
Yeah, I know.
And he was okay, he survived. Apparently the croc didn't know what he was, so it did like a taste bite. He freaked out and got back to shore, and apparently this croc just hissed and then went back underwater. So I don't know if I personally brought that croc into the area. They are known to stalk and hunt, so they'll see what your moves are, and then sometimes they'll come back to the same spot and hit you. So you never go into the water in the same spot apparently.
Yeah. But yeah,
so,
we do, especially Chris, you do miss spearfishing. It's been a while now since Esperance back in March. And it's so tempting around here. There's like so many islands and there's lots of tools like that goes like snorkeling out of the reef. But yeah, we'll...
yeah, it looks like the crocs can go out, but they don't usually. They normally go along the coastline, which makes sense because they go from river system to river system. They're not really likely to go out to the islands, but apparently they can be out there. So
that's the tricky part about Queensland. And as well as we are heading towards the warmer month, we've got the box jellyfish as well to worry about.
And irukandji. And these march flies are a pain in the butt. They've been biting us all day. They're like the size of a shoe. So.
But we killed at most like 50, so we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we feed them to the ants. Looks cool, eh?
Hey, is that for a transformation?
Yeah. New additions to Bowser. I like it because there's now less of a transition between the roof of the cab and the roof of the habitat.
Yeah.
So it's kind of made it look a little bit less of that big transition there.
Yeah, it's really cool. So yesterday we left the beach camp to come to a caravan park. We had a few chores to do. And one of the main one was to pick up those roof bars because we've got an exciting package to pick up today actually.
We do. So the roof bars was the best option for us for now. Because we're on the road, it's really hard to get like a fabricator to make up bar work. Not to mention it'll be a lot more expensive than what this cost us. So we went with 2 heavy duty load bars from Rhino Rack. The other option we could have gone with was Yakima, but unfortunately they didn't have any in cans. We tried to order some in because I liked the design a bit better than Rhino Rack, but just wouldn't work. So, but a huge shout out to Autobahn Cairns, like the Cairns City Autobahn.
It was impressive.
The 2 blokes there were so helpful. I went back and forth with them so many times trying to work out what would fit Bowser, and they even like came outside and tried to help on the mog and stuff.
Yeah, it's very rare to have that kind of customer service, so well done.
They were really nice guys. So yeah, we've got a pretty good solution here, and we've been able to install the mega light bar from Laser Lamp finally. That's been sitting in our garage for so long, and it's nice to get it up here, and I will wire that up one day soon.
Yeah, so here we go. New look for Bowser, definitely looks so much better. We've got that little platform.
We certainly need a new windscreen though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That'll make a big difference. Looks a bit derelict at the moment.
Oh, it's a bit crazy. So yeah, so stay tuned. Next week we'll reveal what is going on the roof of the cab and all the behind the scenes, because there's a lot involved with that project.
There is. Yeah,
let us know if you've got any guess for it. I don't know. Probably not. It's a bit
maybe not. Yeah.
A secret that we haven't actually given any clue for.
So many secrets, aren't we? Yeah, we're like little spies. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys.
See you next week.
We'll see you next week.